name is Joanne Corley and I'm the Student Recruitment Manager here at Tangent. So looking forward to hopefully meeting you all down the line in Tangent if you do apply for the course and start with us. With me also is Jeanne Lecour. She's the Programme Coordinator. And giving our taster session today is Lucy McKenna from Brave Lab. So as I say, just to let you know, I will be here at the very end of the session for the last 5 minutes to take any questions and answers, and just to let you know a few important things with regard to if you're applying for Springboard. With regard to getting your application documents up, the closing date is the 22nd. A lot of people tend to wait till a week before the 22nd to upload their documents and realise that it takes up to 2 weeks to gather some of their documents. So our advice is always start now, and I have a nice easy read documents that I can send to you all, because I know from the Springboard it's quite difficult to understand what exactly needs to be uploaded, because there's application documents and then there's eligibility documents. So we're going to try and make it as easy for you as possible. Jeanne is going to stay on throughout, and she's going to be fielding questions in at the side. So if you have any questions or that, just Jeanne will be looking out for them. So for the moment then, I will hand you over to Lucy from Brave Lab, and I really hope you all enjoyed this taster session for Innovation and Enterprise Development, our postgraduate certificate, and hope to see you at the end of the session for questions on that. Thanks very much. Bye.
Hi folks, so I'm Lucy McKenna. You're very welcome to this session today. I come from an organisation called the Brave Lab, and we're a learning partner with Tangent. We run a lot of different types of programs with them, but one that we have been running for the last, I think this will be the 4th year now, is a module in the Innovation Enterprise program. We run the first module, so it's myself and my business partner Jess Hayden, and we run the first program on creativity and innovation. So what I'm going to do today is kind of just give you a little bit of a taster of what that's like, and get you to experience what even doing a little activity would be like in one of these programs. Just to give you a little bit of a, first of all, can you see slides? Yeah, okay, cool, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Always good to get the feedback. So just to give you a little bit of information about me, my name is Lucy McKenna. This is me actually looking all right back in COVID days. It was at the time I didn't feel it, but this is my professional photo, but the real me. That's what I would be like all the time if I could, in every room. And I definitely bring that energy to this program and some of the other programs that we do with Tangent, because it really is a playful experience doing these programs. It's very different to maybe traditional study that you may have done before, but still has the seriousness of that as well. But there's a lot of kind of experiential approach to the way that we do stuff. So just a little bit about me. This is the way that we've taken to kind of introducing ourselves recently, because it gives a little bit of sense of our background, kind of peripheral, and then what are we currently curious about. So for me, I run a business. I've been running my own business since 2015, really in kind of innovation and facilitation and coaching. My background was in tech before that. I spent nearly 10 years working for Google in Dublin, and I worked all throughout the organization, starting in the marketing or in their kind of sales advertisement department, but ended up then working with product a little bit, and then in their learning development team. So I spent a long time there, and that's really where I got my first exposure to like really innovative practices, and like running with ideas and trying things out and failing, which is a big part of innovation. What have I had exposure to? So there's been different things that I've done throughout my life. I've done a lot of kind of improv-y type stuff. And we work a lot actually with social enterprises, and it's a really interesting space for me. I find it very interesting. I'm part of a number of community groups, and I've just finished a course on regenerative business practices, which is a real curiosity, as you can see from the next thing for me at the minute. So community is a big part of that. So how to grow and maintain community, but also something I'm really interested in at the minute is, what does a regenerative economy look like, and how do we embolden entrepreneurs in it? And I think that's, you will see, whether it be myself or my business partner, Jess Hayden, we will bring our curiosity into the classroom and we will introduce you to things that we're finding interesting. And we would also encourage the students that we work with to do the same, right? Because you will work a lot collaboratively with other people in this program. That's a big part of it. And bringing those interests can really bring a diversity to the work that you do. So we would always encourage that. So that's a little bit about me. At the Brave Lab, what we really try to do is work with individuals and organizations who are trying to do something different. Sometimes they may be trying to challenge the status quo, but basically make shifts and change in the world that they are. Okay, so in the program, as I said, our approach to learning is very experiential. We believe this actually embeds the learning a lot more. So we will often have games and exercises. Absolutely, we have our theory and our evidence and our research. As I say, evidence is a really key piece of what we do. But we will always present things and we'll ask you, as I said, we want to hear from you and to be critical of it and to interrogate the information that we give you and to bring, again, your own lens into it. And then finally, we would build a lot of reflection into various stages of the module that we run, because it's absolutely key for learning, especially when you're doing stuff with teams and groups. We like some of the stuff that we'll do at the start. Actually, I think it's on the next slide. Like, we do lots of different things, even in this one module. So like some of the activities and tools and things that we do, we'll be getting you to do team charters. We talk about values quite a bit. And then when it gets into the actual kind of creativity side of things, you'll be doing things like building personas and creating stakeholder maps, doing things like journey mapping. And all these words might not mean anything to you at the minute, and that's okay. Get you to map problems, and we're going to do a little bit of that today. So that's kind of where I want to play with this group today. And you will be getting out and talking to people, right? Innovation and entrepreneurship is about engaging with humans who may be impacted with the things that you're going to bring into the world, okay? So we work with design thinking as a framework, which is a form of human-centered design. So a lot of it is about getting out and engaging with people. And then we will do a lot of stuff around ideation, brainstorming, a little bit on prototyping, and often at the end there will be a presentation, or there will be a pitch, or there'll be something, right? So it is very active in the way that we approach this learning. So it can seem like a lot when it's written down, but feedback that we get from our students is that it is enjoyable, it is engaging, and they do learn. Another thing you will be hearing is probably having some difficult conversations. Anytime that we're doing stuff with teams, you do have to have difficult conversations. And it's really fascinating. We're doing a program at the minute, and the teams are getting on fantastically, but they acknowledge that there are challenges and they have those difficult conversations. And that's something that we like to address as well as part of this program. All of this stuff can be applied in whatever space that you are working, okay? And whether that is that you're in a role, whether that's that you're not in a role, but you're looking for something, or if you have an idea or that you would like to bring to life, all of these things can be applied in some shape or form. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit today about is kind of identifying, like, where can you get inspiration for innovation, or what are often the starting points for innovation? We have people coming into this program who are for very different reasons, okay? But we will get you to run through a design sprint using design thinking, and I'll introduce that to you in a moment. But when people come up with a new innovation or new business or new idea, there's loads of entry points to that, okay? So one entry point could be, it's a problem. You identify a problem in the world, right? that you are passionate about or you're interested in, that you want to fix. And that's often how people will come to business ideas and to innovation, is that identifying a problem. Another thing could be is that you have a belief or an assumption, right? You might be working in a space. The example we have here is we believe drama is an underutilized form of communication, especially to explore challenging topics. So if you're in a particular industry or space, you might start to build this belief around something that you could explore a bit more. Sometimes people come in and they'll have a question, or they'll, think like, I would like to use the example that I'm using here. How can we use drama to explore difficult information or difficult topics? Okay, but you could have a question that pops up time and time again in the work that you do or in the industry that you exist. Another thing is you could just have a broad theme of interest. Like, as I say, I'm trying to use the same example here from different perspectives. Like, can we look at drama as a tool for cohesion or social change, right? So there's different access points. There's different ways in which you can come to innovation. And often the point of entry is someone has an idea for something. Okay, and ideas will come from being steeped in a particular problem area. So it could be that you've been facing a particular challenge or problem. You recognize that this exists out in the world. It's not just you, and you have an idea. Okay, so this is often where we will see people coming into this. It could be also that you work with clients and you see problems that they're experiencing, or you have ideas that might make things better for them. Okay. Thoughts on this? Is there any other access points that you think are good for kind of stimulating innovation?
I'm
gonna mute Lynn there. Okay.
Hi, Lucy. Yeah, I suppose it ties down to identify a problem, but to make it a reoccurring problem, to error-proof it, so to improve something. So for continuous improvement, rather than just identifying an initial problem, something that's been a reoccurring problem, that by changing a system or a process, you fix it once and for all.
Yeah. And that's a really interesting point then, Lynn, as well. So problems can exist and pop up again, right? And so you can fix it and then it can pop up again. And part of what we always want to do is because often the problem that we originally identify may not necessarily be the root problem. And that's, we have started to integrate a little bit of systems thinking into what we're doing, because there are problems that are systemic and that you need to dig a little bit deeper to understand a bit more. But yeah, that's it. It's always nice to be able to fix something for once and for all, but if you change something over here or over there, it might recur again. And that is the reality of what we do is in our work, is we can often be firefighting or trying to solve problems that do recur over and over. But I would always say in those instances, are we getting to the root cause of the problem in the first place? Any other thoughts on this?
It could be a gap or a need or something lacking that hasn't been discovered in that particular place yet.
Yeah, but that's brilliant. Like a need, an unmet need. When you can identify an unmet need, and they can be trickier, right? And that's where the approach of human-centered design really comes in, because it is in getting out and engaging with people that you can discover things that you didn't even know in the first place. That's where your unmet needs show up. Yeah, brilliant, Eva. Thank you. Tara.
Also, maybe looking at a solution that works really well in a particular industry and seeing how you...
Oh, I lost Tara. Is she here? Oh. She'll hopefully come back. But yeah, I'm Tara, you're back. I lost you.
That was my computer. It decided it didn't want me to speak for some reason. So as I was saying, so looking at a solution that's maybe used in another industry and transferring it as another use case to a different industry problem and seeing, if there's a room for innovation there.
Yeah, And that's a definite an approach to innovation, is like taking it from somewhere else. And innovation doesn't have to be something new, right? It doesn't have to be something that's never been done before. It can be something, as you say, that works one place and brings to the other. I'm going to actually introduce the design thinking process, and it's really interesting because you have to ensure that the human beings, who are always the messy piece, right, accept this new thing, right? So, and it's making sure that it is going to meet the needs in this industry. And I think what can happen often is something can be picked from over here and can be like, oh, okay, we're just going to apply this there without consideration for the environment that it's putting it into. And I think that's the key piece. Again, I'll go back to the approach to innovation that we work with is design thinking, which is a form of human-centered design. And it means that we need to engage and understand the human beings in the space in order to ensure that it's going to actually solve the problem. It's going to meet the unmet need. It's going to deliver what it needs to deliver for the people at the end, for the users, the end users. So thankfully, that is the next slide. So some of you who actually, out of interest, has anyone come across this design thinking process before? It looks like this. I'm clicking, I don't see it yet. There we go. So this is the design thinking process. This it's a framework for innovation, okay? And it can be applied in so many different contexts. This particular model comes from the Stanford Design School, and this is the one that we use in a lot of the programs we do. There is the Double Diamond, which is another one. I think it comes from one of the London business schools, but this is the one that we will use. And it is a 5-stage process, okay? And it starts with empathy. And this is, again, going back to the people and the problem. The empathy phase is where you learn as much about the challenge that you might be trying to address and the people who experience that challenge, okay? So it does start with a problem. We will always encourage. So even if someone, sorry, I'm trying to go back here. Yeah. So even if someone comes in, and this is always one of the biggest challenges in any innovation program that we run, people come with ideas. Okay, but they may not necessarily have validated the idea, because often where it is they feel a challenge, or they observe maybe clients experiencing a problem or a challenge, and we jump straight to idea, right? Often what we need to do is bring it back to the problem. Okay, you've got an idea, brilliant. What is the problem that it's solving? What is the real world problem? How can we validate this problem? Can we learn more about the problem? And that's where you start to, going back to Ava's point, identify your unmet needs. That's where you can dig in a little bit deeper to understand the real problem that might be underlying that top level problem. So the first stage is really important in the design thinking process. And in fact, it's 5 stages, but I would say most time should be spent in these first 2 stages, okay? So empathy is kind of a divergent stage where you learn as much as possible about the problem, about the people who experience it, how it shows up, everything. And then you really start to drill down and like, what are the real needs that we're identifying? What are the real issues? And then from that stage, that's when you begin to ideate. That's when you start to come up with ideas that may potentially solve this problem. And in, the ideate stage is about, again, going very broad, coming up with as many ideas as possible, putting no barriers in place, not worrying about how you're going to do it. Then you bring it to the prototype stage, and we often would recommend that people, build 1 or 2 prototypes. A prototype is cheap, it's easy, it's a mock-up to get in front of people. And that is the test phase. You go out, you put it in front of the people that you might have talked to back here and see if it's something that might work for them. But the really important thing about this process is that it is iterative, right? You don't just do this once, you do this time and again. And you might get to the ideate stage and realize, actually, we haven't got enough information. We need to go back to empathy. Or you might get to test phase and realize, what you've built isn't working, and you might have to go back to ideate, right? So it is an iterative process. And even within, like, we will go into organizations and we'll run design thinking sprints. And it's just to ensure that they are keeping up to date with being innovative in the products and services that they provide. Okay. So this is the kind of, we run this across the program. You will go through these stages with a group to look at a specific challenge or problem. Okay. And I mean, I've already said this, right? This is where we usually start. We often, when we have a challenge or problem, we jump to ideate, but this is the place where we can learn more, where we can really get down to the root cause. And it can be really hard if you come in with an idea to pull yourself back into the problem space. I have done this with multiple. We work in a co-founder program here in I'm in Belfast, by the way. So we work in a co-founder program here in Belfast, and the amount of times it's so hard to let go. If people come with an idea, it's, yeah, you have to. We have a term like to call my baby ugly, right? They have to allow people to say, you know what, maybe that doesn't work, right? So it feels like you're dragging people back into that problem space. But getting to that kind of starter problem is a really it's a really good place to start if you get a problem rather than go running just with an idea. So with that, am I going to show you? Yeah, I would like to play something with you. I would like to play with this a little bit, okay? If you're happy to do so, right? And I know that some people may not want to do this, or they may not feel comfortable doing this, but in your area or industry, or the work that you do, maybe if you work with clients, what are the problems which you or they rant about? When you give out about something, that means that you care. What are the problems that you see showing up, or the gripes that you might have? What do you wish could be fixed? So if you want to throw it into the chat, if you're happy to do so. Now, if there's nothing, then we'll work with something else. But I would love if you could throw in, like, what are those kind of gripes, those things that drive you crazy, those problems that keep showing up. I'll give a minute and see if anybody's. That's why we have a whole module, Mike. I also recognize some of you may be in work, so that could be awkward. And if you can't think of work ones, like even in the world, right? Too many people involved in the decision process and delaying progress and innovation. Okay, so too many cooks. Okay.
I think that's more in larger corporate organizations, I've noticed, as opposed to startups where you can make decisions quite quickly. But that was my most annoying thing.
So that's nearly like too many people slow the decision-making process or delay progress. Okay. Not enough time to go to root cause. So time is always a big one, right? Too many rules for the sake of it. Too many steps to exit the Netflix app. Lynn, I don't know what that is.
It just doesn't like me today. It's a new computer as well. It's not very good.
Wanting to have a longer layover when flying internationally so you can rest and explore along the way. Have luggage forwarded, stored and tracked better. Okay, cool. Have luggage forwarded, stored and tracked better. That's a really interesting one. Eva, the have luggage forwarded, stored and tracked better. Sorry, is this a problem for you or for clients, or what is it? It'd be really interesting to understand that.
Well, it's a bit of both. I mean, I've worked in tourism before, and just personally as well, having long distance travel, sometimes having, like, Ireland doesn't have a lot of direct flights to places that you might need to go, and so there might be a need to stop over somewhere along the way. And sometimes as you get older, I've found that the long haul flights can be really tiresome, and especially if you're maybe moving country and you have a lot of luggage, and then you just want to kind of break in between your flying from America and you're stopping off somewhere else, or you're trying to get to Japan and you have to stop somewhere because you can't go over Ukraine, unfortunately, and things like that. So it would be nice to kind of have some options to kind of make the journey more enjoyable, I suppose.
Okay.
And then the luggage thing, you know, being kind of holding you back, I suppose.
Yeah, okay, great. And the reason I asked that as well is when we're looking at problems, it can be really good to put the person who experiences the problem into it, right? So we always aim to have a problem statement. Sheena, see your one, it looks interesting. Designing for customers who might not go ahead with us and the waste of design time. That's a really interesting one. So the problem is, the problem for the organization is that time and money is wasted in kind of trying to win work. Would that be fair to say? That's a really interesting one. The voice of customer is not considered in the solution offered. So, and Lynn, that's another interesting one. Like, that's both a problem, I dare say, for the company, but also for the customer, right? Because they're not getting what they need from it. Thank you for doing that. And I think we always start when we're looking to give people kind of inspiration when it comes to innovation, because often people will come into this course and they're just curious to learn about the processes and the ways. And we'll often we'll start at a starting point and say, okay, you need to find a problem to solve. And a really good way of doing it is to ask people, what are the things that drive you crazy? What are the irks? And then we get people to a state of trying to make a problem statement. And that's where it's what is the problem and who is experiencing it. So let me just show you one of the tools we use then once we have that. Okay. So this is an example. We do a lot of work with healthcare and in the pharmacy space. And this is one of the problems that come out in a session that we ran with them. And it was, for people with chronic diseases, managing medication is time consuming and difficult. Okay. So this is what we call a problem map. And this is a tool that we use like very early on in this program and in a lot of the programs we do. And it's a way to help us think about the problem more broadly. Okay. And you can see at the top, we have impacts and we have contributors. So we ask people to read this statement and then what are all the contributors to this? What is contributing to this being a problem? And we ask people to go down maybe 2 levels with that. So for example, the statement for people with chronic diseases, managing medication is time consuming and difficult. The reason for that is one of the contributors to that is there can be a lot of pills to be taken at different times. And why is that the case? Well, often one pill can cause a side effect, which requires another pill, right? So that's kind of getting down to that problem a little bit more. Another thing that makes it difficult is actually opening the bottles, right? Accessing the pills can be difficult. The reason for that is because bottles are made to be childproof or to be stored correctly. And another thing that come up in the research in this case was people feel embarrassed. They don't want to be seen to be taking their medication. And why do they not want to be seen? Because they don't want to be considered as sick or treated any differently. And it can also be difficult because the patient can be forgetful. That could be because they are older, or it can be the impact of the disease sometimes. And just on a practical level, getting to a pharmacy can sometimes be challenging, and even queues when they get there, right? And the reason it can be challenging, whether it could be mobility issues, it could be that their location, they're in a rural area, access to transport isn't great, or even simply the layout of the store can be a barrier, right? So that's all the contributors to this problem. And it's not all of them, it's a number of them, okay? And then we get people to consider, what is the impact of this? How does this play out? Well, it wastes time of the individual. It means it's less time for doing things that they enjoy in life. It requires carers' help, which can either be an additional load on the carer or can cost the patient. Pills can be missed or taken at the incorrect time. This could lead to health deterioration. It could even be a heavier cost then on the health system. And then there's, again, it increases that mental load with dealing with an illness and could lead to mental health issues. Okay. So this is something that when people arrive to us with a problem, or if we, you know, we encourage people to explore a problem, we get them to start with this. And we get you to do this initially on assumption, right? Having talked to nobody, right? Based on your own perspective of the problem. Now, sometimes if you have felt that problem or experienced that problem, then yes, you can bring a lot of fact into this. But initially, we will get you to do it, just get everything out, okay? And try to explore it. So I would actually like you to play with this tool. And I'm going to put you into breakout, because this is what we do in this program as well, is we mix you with random people to explore and to try different things. So we're getting the full taster here of what it can be, okay? I want you to choose a problem that what if you bring to the table. It can be anything. What I would say is try to ensure that you've got who's experiencing the problem in the statement, okay? Come up with something just as a way to play with it, all right? Now, I know I'm going to do random breakout rooms. Thank you, Mike, for that. That was a good call. I'd say for anyone, take a picture of it. It might be useful when you get into the room. I'm going to put you into threes. I'm hoping everyone will have at least one person in the room with them. And obviously, I know maybe some of you are listening to this and you're maybe in work. That's absolutely fine. If I see that anyone's in a room by themselves, I will pull you out. I'm going to give you just 10 minutes to do this, okay? And enjoy it. Just get to know each other as well. And it's just to play with it, okay? To see if anything interesting comes out of it for you, okay? So let me just set up the rooms. How many people are there? Sorry, I'm doing maths in my head here, so let's see if this works. Okay. Recreate. Okay. I'm going to open up the rooms now. Give it a go. There is a whiteboard in Zoom if anyone's adept with that. I'm not going to give you a Zoom tutorial now if you want to try and do that. If not, just get someone, you can write it down on a piece of paper in front of you. So I'm going to open the rooms. 10 minutes.
We might have to leave you from room 1 to see.
I am, yeah. I'm just doing that now. I've just.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I think so. Don't know if it worked actually. Oh, yeah. Moved them into room 2.
Okay.
All right. Oh, that's good. Most rooms have 3. Couple of 2s. So they went in 34, 44. 44.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go get some water and I'll be back. Sorry. I just admitted a new participant, Steve.
Recording.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Hiya. Were you in the group earlier?
No, sorry, apologies. I couldn't join until now.
No worries. It's just they're in a breakout room at the minute.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna.
Thank
I'm
you.
actually,
Sorry, is it recorded or anything, the information session, or?
it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is. Do you want to go into one of the breakouts and just see what they're at?
I might actually leave it I'm kind of double jobbing here. I'm in the
No
middle of doing
worries.
something. I was just going to listen in the background.
Grand.
Sorry
No,
now for not immersing myself fully, but just the timing.
not at all, not at all. They'll be back in about 6 or 7 minutes, and we'll just get started or get back to it then, so you can listen away in the background.
Okay. And is it possible to watch the whole session at some stage, or how do I go about that?
Jean?
Yeah, no problem at all, Steve. Our team of marketing will be in touch with the links for everybody who joined the session today, so you can be able to rewatch it after.
Oh, thank you very much, guys.
All right.
Thanks very much.
No
Apologies, sorry, I'm half in and half out. So listen, I just have to do something for a minute, and I might pop back in then.
Super.
No problem. See you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so
Have a
much.
good day. Cheers.
Bye.
I might pop in actually and see how they're getting on.
No problem at all.
That was so interesting. I went into a room and they were like, we can't even get the problem articulated.
Super nice. Super, super nice.
Is my screen sharing? No, it's not sharing anymore, is it?
At the moment, it's not anymore now.
Let me just close this up. Oh. We're all still chatting anyway.
That's good. Very, very good. Get to know each other already.
All right, folks. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
How was that?
That was great.
It was great. Really good.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Okay, what made it great?
I think I found a kindred spirit in who I was. Sorry, my name is Aoife. I think I found a kindred spirit in who I was teamed up with. And I was with Kate in the breakout room. I'm a mom, and as you can see, I'm in my car. So I was driving around for the first bit of the presentation because my baby was crying at the back. But I was teamed up with Kate and basically was walking through the project, or what spurred me to start the project that I'm working on. So yeah, it was great to actually get a bit of feedback from her and kind of also identify opportunities, you know, to further expand the project. So it was great.
Nice. Brilliant, Aoife. Thank you for that. Anyone
Yeah,
else? Lynn?
I enjoyed it, Lucy, because I was paired up with Gwen, but Gwen's problem statement I could have empathy with because I could fully understand it from where she's coming from. So it meant that it was great because in terms of contributors and impacts, because I had an understanding of her problem and her pain point, it meant that I could ask questions and bring my knowledge to the fore. And I could ask her the question, she could come back with a challenge, or she'd come back with a statement that showed us an impact or a contribution. So going back to your design thinking piece, having that empathy and that understanding of the problem statement to be able to challenge the problem statement and look at contributors and the impacts and the things that maybe Gwen hadn't thought of.
Exactly.
That was I think that was really helpful. And plus I enjoyed the fact of chatting with Gwen. It's good to meet people that you'll hopefully be sitting with them, standing with and brainstorming with in January. So yeah, it was good.
Great, Lynn. That's great. Thank you for that.
I got a chance to chat with Fernando, and it's been really interesting hearing about his experience working and living in Ireland for quite a long time now. But he's sharing a problem or you know, some kind of suffering that's been going on with the people who are working at Trinity doing the housekeeping, and just kind of talking about challenges that certain levels of staff might have if the managers aren't really being receptive and giving them an opportunity to have a voice and be you know, rewarded for good work and encouraged and motivated to keep going and keep doing a good job and get the training that they need. So we kind of, through chatting, we kind of realized what the problem was and what was contributing to it, and how we could probably have some solutions to, you know, prevent the impact from being so severe.
Great. Thank you, Eva. Thank you for sharing. I was in with one. I actually was going to go try and go into a few groups, but I went into the one group and we had good conversation. But it is, even getting to that problem, that starting problem can be difficult, right? It's when you start thinking, what is the problem? It can be challenging. It can also be quite, when you're forced in that direction, you can get there quite quick, but it also, you realize even the complexity of a problem when you start talking about it. And I am aware of time, so I'm not going to talk too much more, but that's just a bit of an experience of the type of work that we do in this program, right? That's the cohort that you are with are so valuable to this, right? Myself and Jess, who runs the program, and there's a few contributors that we bring in from time to time. Like, we are only a percentage of how successful this program is. It's about what you bring into it, and you putting your best foot forward in terms of, you know, bringing your ideas, bringing your experience, bringing your perspective. That's where real value can be added in this program. So just to show you a little bit of what can happen with these problem maps after they've been done, but you can start to zone in on specific, like, so you might start with this as a problem, right? But you might actually realize in working with it, well, maybe we only need to solve one part of this problem, right? So here's a piece that showed up in this one, and like
Lucy, just you're not sharing your screen. Just to let you know.
Oh, good call. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Sorry. Boom. Where are we? Here we go. No, here. See it now?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So, for example, you could decide to zone in on this is actually what we want to look at. And here is an example of a product called Taboo that addresses or goes some way to address this idea of carrying a pill pack, right? So they've redesigned the pill pack. I come across this just happenstance on LinkedIn or something. I thought, oh, that's really interesting. That solves this one piece of the problem that was identified in this kind of problem map that we did with the group. And another one in this space is that kind of addresses multiple aspects of the problem. So things haven't been taken at different times, making it easy, getting access to the pills and also getting to the pharmacy is this product and service actually called PillPack. This is they provide to your door all your pills that you need for a given period of time. Comes in this little container, prints them out every day. So they come in this little pack. So it says, okay, for the morning, these are your pills. And they have a little container that you carry it in. But they try to look at the process of accessing your medication from end to end and try to solve some of the problems. And this gets delivered to your door, so you don't have to go to a pharmacy. And it's actually been bought by Amazon. So this has been quite successful in that sense. I think it's US based, but they are certainly trying to get into the UK. I don't know about Ireland at this stage, but you can go and have a look at it. I should have put up the link. If you type in PillPack, you'll find a YouTube video on it and what they've done. So look, as I said, in the program, we take you through this design thinking process. You will work with a group for a period of time. Sometimes it's for half of the module, sometimes it's for longer. We redesign and iterate the program all the time as well, so it changes. But you will work with a group to go through this process and to use the tools at the various stages so that you can then take and apply it in your own life, in your own work, in your own ideas. And I suppose, if you're thinking, is this program for me or not? I think it's for everyone, but really, if you want to bring effective problem solving techniques into your working life, you will find use in this. If you want to challenge yourself to be more collaborative and work with people from different perspectives, that is a big piece of this. If you want an alternative way of looking at the world, again, I've been steeped in this kind of this innovation space for many years now, and it does change how you exist in the world. You start to see problems, you start to see opportunity. If you want to help change systems that are no longer working with us, if you want to bring an idea to life that you have, or if you want to have some fun while learning. And honestly, courses in Tangent are that they really focus on it's not all about the crack, but there is enjoyment, and that's where people can really learn. So with that, I want to say thank you. I appreciate your attention for the last hour. I hope you got something out of it, and I really do hope to see some of you in the new year in the program. It'd be lovely to work with any of you. So yeah, thanks very much. Shan.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks, Lucy.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you
Lucy.
so much. That's fantastic. Jan, did you have anything to say there before I jump in?
No, you're free to go. Just want to say congratulations, everyone, because first time a little taster and you already do activities and interact with each other, which is not always easy. So fair play to all of you. And as Lucy said, we hope you enjoyed it. It's a very nice way to understand what will happen in your classroom. And we're really lucky to have Lucy and Jess leading on the first module. So thank you very much.
Right. Okay, so as I said, if anybody has any questions and wants to stay on and ask me any questions about the application process, please do. just letting you know that we have our open evening, which will be sent, you'll be receiving an invite to our open evening after this taster. And we'll also have an Acer application online night to help you if you're having issues uploading your application to Springboard if you are applying. And one last thing is, have received feedback from previous years that it's quite confusing, the documents that you have to upload to Springboard. You know, there's the application documents, and then after you've uploaded them, after you're successful, you have to upload your eligibility documents. And some people find it confusing. So I've put together an easy read document that just lists them up in line with the way you have to upload them on Springboard. So I'll send that on to you as well after this class. So hopefully you'll find that handy.
Joanne, sorry to interrupt. I have one quick question, please, if you don't mind. Do you have a choice in whether it's Kildare or Trinity in Dublin you go to attend the course, or is that predetermined?
Absolutely.
Great.
And you'll see yourself when you go to Springboard. They're separate. So there's the Dublin cohort and the Kildare cohort. So do just apply for the one that's closest or handiest for you.
Perfect. That's great. Sorry for cutting across it. I thought you were finished. I apologize.
No problem. And does anybody else have any questions? And as I say, at any time, if you have any questions, just email me. I'm at springboard@tcd.ie. Another thing that I found over the years is that sometimes people think they're emailing Springboard when they email springboard@tcd, but you're emailing Trinity, you're emailing Tangent, you're emailing me when you email Springboard. And my colleague Sharon, she's working with you. Some of you may have spoken to her. And Jackie Breen, you'll be speaking to her as well. She's on the team as well. So Jackie and Sharon will be involved in recruiting. So you'll be dealing with either myself, Jackie, or Sharon a lot of the time before the start of the course if you are applying. And as I say, if you can get your documents in as soon as possible, because it is a rolling basis. So the courses can fill before the start date, and so people don't realise that, or they don't realise that it can take 2 weeks to get something. Like if you have to get your transcripts and you don't have your parchment handy, a photo of your parchment handy, you have to get transcripts. You've got to. It can take up to 2 weeks to get them, depending on, you know, things can take a long time to source, and people end up very stuck then at the last minute. So do have a look at that document that I'll be sending you, because I've highlighted the bits that can take a bit of time to get a hold of. Okay, so any other questions? Tara, do you have questions?
I had one. I did, yeah. So as you were saying there about some documents, can you apply and still upload, or you have to have everything together?
No, you can apply bit by bit. So you can apply as soon as you have a document. And the reason why we like you to apply bit by bit is because you'd be so surprised, because it's government funding. They're very strict. They audit the files for us. We have to really make sure every document is exactly as is required. And oftentimes, Jackie is brilliant at catching like where somebody's missing something in a document, like a stamp for, or their transcript isn't right, or something's off. So Jackie, the sooner you upload a document, the sooner Jackie will be able to say, we got your document, it looks great, keep uploading. You know, that kind of way. So you know, and you don't get stuck at the last minute 2 days before the closing date. Do you know what I mean? So start uploading now and just log back into Springboard and keep uploading as you get more documents. Yeah. Any other questions? And is anybody, if you're...
would I be saying...
Sorry, Terry, cut off there.
So I've started the application where it says save application, you can apply and you can still apply stuff.
I think you'll have to type that in, unless it's me, Janet. Can you hear me fine, Jan? Is it me that's off?
No, you're good, unfortunately.
Okay, Tara, can you type that into the chat? And we'll catch
Sorry, Tara.
In the meantime, has anybody else any questions or comments or anything?
Yep, sorry, me again. I'm just wondering, would I be better off looking at the social enterprise or social entrepreneurs stuff rather than development for enterprise? I don't know. It's just like, I'm not sure what thread to do, or if it matters at all. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Sorry, now you'll have to. I'm not quite with it. What do you mean, the social enterprise?
Oh, sorry. Maybe I misheard when I was driving, but is there another course that's for social entrepreneurs, or maybe that was just an example that was mentioned.
No,
Sorry, I'm extremely sleep deprived at the minute, so it might have been I misheard.
we're all
Sorry.
together. I think we're all sleep deprived.
That was me probably doing my introduction where I said that we often work with a lot of social entrepreneurs as well. Look, I suppose I can comment only on the part of the program that we work on, which is that innovation and creativity. That's going to work for anyone, no matter what you're doing. I think for the rest of the program as well, like there's still going to be value in everything. The whether it's an enterprise or a social enterprise. I think even I have to say, so because I'm based in Belfast, in Ireland, is there an entity for social enterprise, or do you set up as there is a social enterprise entity?
Well, there's sorry, when you say entity, do you mean like a limited company?
So do you set up
social...
as a limited or a non-profit?
There is some mechanism, like it's not coming to me now, but there is something like that. You get recognition that that's what you're in.
Yeah. So I think, look, I think the value in the program will still be absolutely there for you. But I mean, there are social entrepreneur programs as well, but I don't know if I don't think Tangent run one that's specific to social entrepreneurs. But you will absolutely get the value from this. It's very much tools and practices that all businesses will need to and will find useful to put in place. So, yeah.
And just to answer Tara there, thanks, Lucy. Just to answer Tara there, Tara, I am not 100% sure. I would say click apply, because if not all your documents are up, you know what I mean? It won't damage anything. I think it's like Blackboard, the system that you use when you're in the platform that we use in here for students. When you start here, you start using Blackboard, you can't kind of break it, so once you upload, maybe save and apply, do the whole lot. So that should be good. Okay.
Just on that, Joanne, I have done my application and I've got an offer subject to, like the residential documentation, stuff like that has to be uploaded by the 14th December.
No, your application documents aren't. Your application documents should be all able. If you apply now, you'll get either successful, that you've been accepted on the course. Or
I've got that. I got successful, I've been accepted, but then it came back to say that I need to upload things like with my PPS number and proof of residence and stuff like that. Just upload the whole,
and the document that I'm going to send after this course after this class, will make that clearer. Yes, because there's one document that everybody can't get up because it's your pay slip and it has to be dated. The government want it dated within a month of the start date of the course.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't upload it until December. So, but we've got to get you into Trinity's registration process over the academic registry around I think it's around the 11th, 12th or whatever. So we want to get those documents up. Get everything else up except for document number 1. So
except the payslip.
So as soon as you're accepted on the course, please upload your eligibility documents straight away.
Perfect.
So that you can go and have a happy Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Forget about it.
Christmas off and worry about the last document when we get back.
Perfect. That's great, Joanne. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Lynn.
And Joanne, just you mentioned payslip for those that are self-employed and have no payslips.
Yes. So you'll see on the document that I'm going to send, you can get a letter from your accountant. I've got listed there the things that you can get. So and as I say, if you have any further questions, Mike, just email me at springboard@tcd. You know what I mean? If there's any. And Jackie, anyway, Jackie will be back to you in a flash. She's fantastic. She'll be like, you didn't upload the right one, so she'll be in contact if anything looks off.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Great stuff. Well, listen, come here. Thanks so much. And thank you, Lucy and Jan, very much. And thanks, everybody. And as I say, hope to see you all at the open evening. If you're around on Tuesday, you can come in and you can have a look at the space. It's a lovely space. And you can maybe meet people that you might be working with. And you can, as I say, see the panel and get another taste of what things would be like. So I'll be there, and come up and say hello. We'll say hello to each other if you're around next Tuesday night. Okay. So we'll sign off anyway. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon.